So as I left Persepolis, I came across a craftsman who was making something very interesting. Okay, so here we are, and what we're doing is we're getting my name spelled in cuneiform, which is the ancient Persian language. So they're putting Jasauna on a piece of leather for me. Let's see how we go. Cuneiform is one of the earliest forms of written expression. It emerged in Sumer around the 30th century BC. Documents were written on clay tablets using a blunt reed for a stylus. The impressions left a wedge shape into the documents, thus giving rise to the name cuneiform, meaning wedge-shaped. The cuneiform writing system was used for more than 35 centuries, right through to the 1st century AD. It was completely replaced when the alphabet came in the Roman era. Anyway, as rivetingly exciting as that all is, you probably want to see me get back into Shiraz and then continue on, so let's do that. I headed out to the bus station, bound for the ancient city of Yazd, the oldest civilization on earth. Well, at least that's what I thought, but like everything in Iran, nothing's as simple as it seems. Don't believe anything you hear. Every bus station you go to, they always tell you one story followed by another. So like here in Shiraz, we're getting a bus ticket to Yazd. First place we ask says 2 o'clock. That's the first bus, 2 o'clock. There are no others. You keep asking around. 10 minutes later we ask, 11:30. We find a bus, there's 11:30. No, there is no other bus. 11:30 is only bus. Keep walking around. Now we've got it down to 10 o'clock. So now there's a 10 o'clock bus departing. You just got to keep asking, don't believe what you hear, and keep going from booth to booth until you finally get the answer you want. Ask 3 times, maybe 4. This is the Iranian way. Anyway, let's get on our bus heading to Yazd. So as I sat back for the long and thank goodness air-conditioned journey between Shiraz and the ancient city of Yazd, I had time to think about the ancient history of the Iranian Empire. Iran is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations. The first dynasties of Iran formed during the Elamite Kingdom in 2800 BC. The Iranian Medes unified Iran into an empire in 625 BC. There have been many other conquests, of course, that we've talked about in the last few episodes, but more recently, of course, we had the Muslim conquest in 651 AD. Iranian post-Islamic dynasties expanded, including adding the Persian language and culture throughout the entire Iranian plateau. The blossoming of Persian literature, philosophy, medicine, astronomy and mathematics became major elements of Muslim civilization. No, we are not in Arizona. We are at our lunch stop where there is no lunch in Ramadan, halfway between Shiraz and Yazd. I cannot begin to describe to you how hot it is here. It's really hot. Anyway, let's get back on the bus. It's on to Yazd. See how we get on. We're in the middle of the Iranian desert. The most important impact on Iran happened in 1501 with the Safavid dynasty promoting Shia Islam as the official religion of the empire. This marked an important turning point both in Iranian and Muslim history. The Persian constitutional revolution established the country's first parliament in 1906 as a constitutional monarchy. We all know that on 1st of April 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini changed the country forever as an Islamic republic, which it still is to this day, led under President Ahmadinejad. But before I had any more time to think about that issue, I'd arrived in the ancient city of Yazd. Yazd was the real surprise packet of my trip to Iran. It was absolutely stunning. The ancient buildings, the old history of the city, it's the oldest continually inhabited city on earth. I was truly blown away by its majesty. You can see we're on the roof and you get an absolutely fantastic view of the city, so let's check it out, shall we? As the long afternoon shadows began to gather round us, it was actually cooling the temperature down so that I could appreciate all the sights around me. So I decided with some friends to head out to a local mosque, and gee, wasn't I impressed. The interior was just absolutely ornate. It was incredible, as you can see from the footage. Absolutely enjoyed visiting the mosque, as well as seeing some of the martyrs, the pictures that were put up within the mosque itself. I then headed back to my hotel, where I was greeted by a very friendly owner, and well, the hotel itself I stayed at was absolutely incredible for the price. So as the evening set in and the nightfall came, it was really beautiful to watch the lights, the sights and the sounds of Yazd. So I went to bed feeling very content and ready to face a new day in the oldest city on earth. Okay, so here we are in Yazd, in the middle of the Iranian desert. Why have we come here? Because Yazd is the oldest continually inhabited city in the history of the world. It's been continuously inhabited for over 7,000 years. We're going to see the traditional mud brick houses that the people still live in today, some of the wind tunnels they use on the roof for their version of air conditioning. Behind me you can see the Mosque-e-Jame, the Jame Mosque.
Yazd is the head of its own province and the centre of Zoroastrian culture. The city is about 270 kilometres southeast of Isfahan with a population of about 500,000 people. Because of generations of adapting to its desert surroundings, it's architecturally unique, as I found as I wandered around its back alleys.
It's got these amazing winding little alleyways and laneways that you can get lost in, but that's half the fun of walking around the city. So let's check out the desert city of Yazd Iran, everyone.
I really enjoyed wandering around the streets of the old town. It was incredible to see how people lived in a more historical and, well, unique way. It's an amazing place to visit when you come to Iran. Yazd is of foremost importance as a centre of Persian architecture. Because of its hot climate and surrounding mountains, it has one of the largest networks of underground houses and alleyways in the world. Its local craftsmen and architectures are considered the most skilled in Iran. To deal with the extremely hot summers, many old buildings have magnificent wind catchers, which we're going to see on next week's show, as well as large underground areas. To deal with the extremes of temperature in Yazd, it has many old yakchuls, which are actually used to store ice retrieved from the glaciers in the nearby mountains to keep things cool. Yazd is also one of the largest cities built almost entirely out of adobe.
Yazd is the oldest continually inhabited city in the world. It's been continually inhabited for over 7,000 years.
As we'll discuss further next week, its heritage as the centre of Zoroastrianism is also important. There is a Tower of Silence on the outskirts of the city which holds a fire that has been kept alight continuously since 470 AD. Although Zoroastrians only make up a small amount of the population, about 20,000 people or so, their importance historically cannot be underestimated.
So all through Yazd are these little winding laneways and archways which have beautiful ventilation in the ceiling, a hole that brings in the air through them, which keeps them quite cool. Because of being in the desert, it's so hot here that of course they need to be well shaded and well ventilated, which they are. But they're so cute to walk through these laneways, and to get lost is no problem. There's kids everywhere and you ask them where to go, and it's always an adventure walking through the laneways of Yazd. So as you leave me to wander the back streets of Yazd, I better leave you to get on with your journey as well. I hope I see you next week when we get to see the following. We visit the rest of Yazd, an incredible city by day and then by night, seeing some amazing sights. We then make our way through the rest of Iran, which is a real journey, until we get to the city of Bandar Lenge and get the ferry to Dubai, with the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on earth, and it's an absolutely stunning array of sights and sounds in Dubai. Don't miss it. So I'll see you next week for Yazd and Dubai, everyone. This is Jason Ross for Jason's Journeys. And remember, don't look backwards unless you intend going that way. Keep moving forward, everyone. This is Jason Ross for Jason's Journeys. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.